Hi, welcome to my science blog number 1. Now, I did record another science blog before the holidays, but unfortunately I made the mistake of recording it in 1080p and my laptop can't handle the editing, so perhaps I will revisit the stuff I talked about there another time. But for now, we have a new Between Christmas and New Year blog post. So my science blog will hopefully be looking at stories that don't get into the press straight away or don't get into the press at all, by looking at science press releases on things like Eureka Alert. Also, I'll be talking about things that I'm doing in my Science Communication MSc course, and just other general happenings. So, hello! Well, firstly, something quite important has happened in chemistry research, and that is that theory from 1927 that the conservation of angular momentum, that's the reason why figure skaters get faster when they're spinning and they pull their arms inwards. So it's a sort of a physics kind of thing, has been demonstrated for the first time in a chemical reaction. So this was a proof of concept experiment where fluorescence resonance energy transfer, or FRET, was looked at, and it's where light comes into a molecule and gets moved from one part of the molecule to another, and by swapping one of the chromium atoms in the molecule for a cobalt atom, researchers were able to prove that it was the conservation of angular momentum that was allowing this energy to move. So now that they've looked at that, they're going to look into other ways to understand and perhaps even create new chemical reactions that rely on the conservation of angular momentum. So it was Christmas recently. I hope you had a good one. I spent my Boxing Day on the beach. Doing some filming of our picnic and our Boxing Day walk. Saw lots of interesting effects, like the way dry sand gets blown in a sort of river across the surface of flat wet sand because the tide was out. Now, you may have seen black chickens, but have you ever seen black chicken internal organs? An international team looking at the evolution of domestic animals has found that a sort of genome rearrangement is responsible for a certain phenotypes, the physical characteristics that are present in an individual that are encoded for by a gene. So this is a phenotype where a gene causes expansion of pigment cells, and that makes not only the skin and comb of the chicken black, but also the internal organs. And so the researchers are looking into these genomic rearrangements to see how our own evolution has been shaped by them. Here is some footage of a bird I filmed on the shore of the beach. On the beach! Running along. And 10 points if you can name the species, because I don't remember it. Now to medicine. A team of neuroscientists has identified a gene for a hereditary brain disorder that causes death between around age 40 to 60 in the sufferers. But previously it wasn't possible to diagnose the disease until after death through autopsy. And essentially it causes death of the white matter in the brain. Change places! Unfortunately, due to technical issues with the battery life of the camera, I've had to refilm this bit in a new location. Anyway, where was I? Yes. The disease is called hereditary diffuse leukoencephalopathy with spheroids, or HDLS, and the symptoms can be quite wide-ranging. So until the study even, a definite diagnosis could only be established through autopsy. So hopefully now people who are found to have that upon death and examination of the brain, their relatives will be able to have genetic testing, because often family members will inherit the disease, and they will be diagnosed with other conditions like schizophrenia or multiple sclerosis because of the symptoms that they have, which might not necessarily be the same as the ones that their parents or grandparents had. So they will no longer have to be medicated with expensive or drugs that have toxic side effects. So hopefully it's a step towards a cure for that. Now, we need a good transition to the next topic. I suppose it'll do. On a lighter note, my MSc will be continuing in the new year with my 3 journalism pieces, assessing research at Sheffield. No exams, because the modules that I've done so far have either had coursework assessment or they're carrying on into the new year. And I'll be starting my dissertation as well. So I'll be trying to document my progress through my work, which will, when I'm doing my weekly vlogs, which will give me some motivation. And hopefully they'll serve as a kind of diary of how my dissertation goes. So I'll leave you with the news. The 2 species of Tasmanian millipede are able to maintain a border 230 kilometres long between their 2 territories that's less than 100 metres wide at some points, and continues regardless of soil type, vegetation, climate. It goes through rivers, and its border control, as it were, is much more effective than human ones. I've been reading this book, which I got for Christmas, and I finished it in about a day. It is amazing. I thoroughly recommend it. The Quantum Thief, by someone whose name I shall not attempt to pronounce. Anyway, I'll see you after the new year, and I hope you have a happy new year. Bye bye.